Taylor here, and I'm coming back to you with some answers from a post I posted at the start of this week about sending me some of the questions that you have about your health and well-being. It could have been exercise related, food related, stress related, anything to do with health and well-being. I've chosen half a dozen of those questions that I think cover all of those bases. And it's been really cool to read through those questions and to hear that people out there are willing to reach out because they want answers. It's not always that black and white, particularly as we get past the age of 30 or particularly 40 for men and women in managing health and well-being. We all know we could be fitter and healthier, but sometimes we're drawn into those things that we think we really enjoy. So I'm going to go straight in to the first question from the UK from Chris. Thank you, Chris, for emailing it over. Chris says, what's the most important area to focus on, food or exercise? I love this because there's so much of a barrage of information about exercise. There's gyms on every corner. And so many people in their 20s used to exercise a lot and manage their weight and anxiety and life with exercise. But I am a huge advocate, hands down, nutrition is the most important of the two. Why is that? Because nutrition is the foundation from which everything else will build. So you'll influence your immune system, your anxiety, your digestive system, and your exposure to lifestyle type diseases. All comes from what you eat and what you consume. Exercise is purely the catalyst to improving things like bone density, muscle tone and mass, improving oxygen uptake and utilization, capillary bed density, so how your body functions utilizing getting rid of carbohydrate and uptaking oxygen. There's so many benefits of exercise, but it's wasted if you're trying to outrun, outweight, outswim, outjog a bad diet. So nutrition is hands down the most important thing when we're looking at health and well-being. Hands down. So investigate that further. If you want any questions, if you have any questions about that further, then just send them over. Or we can have a virtual coffee. Carol from the US, thank you, Carol. Carol sent me a message on my Facebook page. Would you advise strength exercise or cardio like running and using the cross trainer, elliptical trainer? I would go strength all the way. Again, very clear cut, but they've both got their advantages. I know Carol is in her late 40s. And I know that many people in and around that age group, 40 plus, 50 plus, 60s, when they're trying to get back into exercise, the easiest thing to do is to pop your trainers on, pop your DAPs on and go out for a run. The problem with that is knowing what intensity to run at or to cycle at. If you're a driven individual and you're determined, then you'll want to run as fast as you can, as far as you can, as quickly as you can to get back. The problem lies with that is that you're depleting sugars and you're encouraging your body to utilize sugars that are stored in muscles and within the bloodstream. So when you get back from your run at max chat, then you're likely to feel really hungry and ravenous for carbohydrates. So if you're wanting to lose weight as a result of exercising, you want to avoid that type of exercise and stick to high intensity interval training or strength training when we can go back to the gyms when they're open. So until the gyms are open, unless you've got equipment at home, then high intensity interval training is the way forward. Short, sharp bursts of high intensity exercise separated by short periods of rest. And this can be done with body weight alone. So mixing squat jumps, power squats, with press ups, with rest, with a ab exercise, with running on the spot, jump jacks, Burpees. So you do all those exercises for around 30 seconds, separate it with around 10, 15 seconds of rest, and you repeat that for 4 to 6 cycles through, or just 2 or 3 if you're just starting. All right. So strength exercise beats cardio exercise hands down for burning the right kind of fuel. But also it links in with what I just said about what's more important, exercise and nutrition. Get your nutrition sorted first. Work on that. Bring in some HIIT training. Boom, 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 boom. You're on the road to success. Thanks, Carol. Mike had a question from Canada, Montreal. I know this because we've had some dialogue, and I've got family in Montreal, Canada. He says, I exercise 4 times a week and my weight isn't changing. What can I do? So dependent on the type of exercise you're doing will determine how your body functions. So if I give you a little bit more information about Mike, he's been doing this similar routine for quite some time. So what happens to the body? It very quickly gets used to the exercise you're doing. So you can just keep repeating the cycle of exercise 4 times a week. And the body's like, okay, I've got used to this, so no need to think about changing. He's just going to do the same thing over and over again. So things to be aware of when you're exercising regularly is the intensity. Play around with the intensity levels. So again, don't just go for a one style of exercise. Don't just do steady state jogging or even stick to the same routines. You might, if you're running, for instance, run hard, then run slow, then jog. So fartlek type training, interval type training, put some runs in like that. If you're in the gym, then think about if you do bench press to start for chest and you finish with flies, then all you need to do is reverse your order. Start with flies, finish with bench press. So reverse your order so your body doesn't know what's coming. It would also mean you can play around with the weights in terms of how much weight you're lifting for each exercise and see some adaptation there. Also change your days around. So you're not doing the same thing on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday if you're a daily exerciser. So play around with the days in terms of the time of day. So train in the morning as opposed to in the afternoon. Your body will get a shock and a different kind of workout. So playing around with intensity, the frequency, and the times of day that you're working out. Try that. Your body will very quickly not know what's coming. You'll see some adaptations and then you can keep moving forward with that sort of format. Sue, very quick question from Germany. What's the best app I can use for counting calories? Now, I'm not an advocate for counting calories, and I wanted to answer this question for that very reason. I don't advise any of my clients to count calories. It's just another thing to do. We are all really busy. You don't need an app to count calories. You don't need to be punching numbers into a screen because you're not dependent on your own choices. You should be able to make the decision as to how much you should eat. So I advise all of my clients to ditch all that tech, and all they use is their hands for measuring. And I use a simple system for carbs, fats and proteins. They just measure utilizing their hand, and that's it. You don't need to interact with another app. You don't need more interaction with your phone. It should just be you and the food and enjoyment. Those 3 things. When you know you're eating the right food in the right quantities and you can measure it just with your hand, man, you begin to enjoy the whole process. So you're not distracted by technology. You're not distracted by, oh, I'm not sure I can have that. Let me just check how many calories are in that and if it fits with what I'm doing for that day. Don't get me wrong. If you are training specifically for an event, then you might need to count calories. If you just want to maintain good health and be in great shape, you don't need to count calories at all. Just use your hand, the hand method. If you want to know more, fire over a question and I'll explain to you. Thanks, Sue from Germany, for that question. Hopefully that helps. I think I might get another question from you following this. Scott from the US, thank you for your message via LinkedIn. I used to have a routine when I was in my 20s. Now I'm 53. I struggle to exercise, eat healthily, and sleep right. What can I do? The really simple answer to this for Scott and anyone else struggling with routine is you prioritized it in your 20s. You thought it was important in your 20s to eat right, to get the right amount of sleep, but also your body could deal with parties or socializing or drinking or straying away from those things, that routine. Now it's more important, but you've given a priority to other things. You might give a priority to socializing because we've got more disposable income. We can go on more holidays. We can afford to eat out more regularly. We can even afford to do things like get someone in to mow the lawn, take care of our lawns, so we don't have to do it. So we spend less time engaged in those activities, more time eating out, going on holiday, treating ourselves to those things. So the priority of exercise and eating right goes down the list. I know Scott is super successful, super driven. So it's about raising the priority list, raising health and well-being up the priority list. What's your why? Why are you wanting to bring it up to a higher level of importance? Then you know you have the discipline and determination. You just need to understand your why. Bring it to the top of the list. Use the determination once you understand why it's important to you. And then you can use that motivation that you had, that drive as a professional that's got you to where you are today. You are a driven individual. You have been successful in other areas of your life. You can be successful in creating or recreating a routine that you had before. Don't feel you have to sacrifice anything. It's about priorities. So maybe socializing, eating out can slip down the priority order, but it doesn't mean you got to cut it out forever. It just drops down the priority order for a little while you're getting your structure in place. And a final one from Carl here in the UK, sunny UK. I know I should drink less alcohol, but I struggle to sleep when I don't. If I don't have a glass of wine or a beer, I struggle to sleep. Why is that? It's really common for people to reward themselves with an alcoholic beverage in the evening and tell themselves, I've had a hard day at work, I deserve this. And it also helps them get to sleep. And it seems to help with bringing down the anxiety levels. When you take out alcohol, what it does is it opens up your awareness to the anxiety. It opens up your awareness to what's going and racing around in your head. When you drink alcohol just before bed, it sort of switches off and numbs the frontal cortex of your brain. So it acts like a sleeping pill. Every time you drink before you go to bed, it's like taking a sleeping pill. It numbs your frontal cortex and then you seem to doze off and sleep. Your quality of sleep is going to be low. Let me just say that from the outset. It's going to be low. When you stop drinking before bed, you take away that sleeping pill, that alcohol. And then if you stop engaging with the TV or your phone and then you go to bed, that's when your mind is going to start racing about all the things you haven't put to bed during that day. So there are techniques to use in terms of switching off social media, switching off the TV, just sitting quietly, allowing your mind to relax, lowering the lights, sitting in a room with less light. So just dim the lights. Allow your body to relax naturally. Allow your body or your mind to bring those questions into your mind before you go to bed. So if you need to act on anything, you can just make a note, act on it there and then before you go to bed. And again, it might seem like you've got to do more, but if you want more, then you need to do a little more or at least something different to what you're doing right now. It doesn't mean that you can never drink alcohol again. It just means while you have a value of your health and want to put in a different routine, a little bit like Scott, you lower the priority of alcohol in the evening and raise the priority of your health and sleeping better and waking in the morning feeling more energized. So it's just about tweaking what you're doing. Or, should I say this? Yeah, why not? Have an alcoholic drink, stick to one, have it a bit earlier. Okay? So you're not going to bed with that sleeping pill type effect. What I would say though is just spend 2, 3, 4 nights a week alcohol free. See how you get on with that relaxation time built in. Long term, your future self will thank you for prioritizing some things higher up the order and deprioritizing some things that are creating things like weight gain, anxiety, not feeling confident with your body, feeling like you're holding things in. Prioritize the things that allow the amazing self, the amazing human that you are, to come to the surface. Your self-esteem, your happiness without external material goods to create happiness. Just to create happiness from within. Prioritize the things that help create that. Life will bring amazing health. Thanks for your question, guys. Like I said, if you have any more, if you want to jump onto a chat, a virtual chat, then just check the link below. Book a time and let's have a chat. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.